Karen yells at me in Walmart over apple juice and demands both bottles. My mother had to visit Walmart a few days ago to pick up a prescription and some food. She detests Walmart, hence we usually attempt to move quickly. My brother and I went to hunt the few things we needed as she stood in line for the prescription. We arrived at the grocery store and got to work shopping. There were just 2 gallons of apple juice left when we at last arrived at the beverages section. As I went to pick them, a woman walked up and watched me grab them. Turning back, I asked her whether she was likewise searching for apple juice. She agreed, thus I gave her one. We would take the other. Things started to get fast. She wanted them, hence she instructed me to give her both of them. I reminded her once more that I would give her one. We would retain the other. She started asking that I give her both as she wasn't satisfied with this. I told her no flat out. Since my brother only wanted apple juice and is not good with conflict, he was not saying anything. "Ma'am, do you want this one or not?" I asked. "Just give me both," Karen said. "How difficult should one find that to grasp? I want both of them." Looking nervous, my brother interrupted her as she was beginning to create a scene and said, "Look, we're just trying to be nice." Karen jerked back. "I don't care, just show me these, you are throwing away my time." I eventually grew bored with the debate and out of spite filled our cart with both of the apple juices. I spun around and pointed for my brother to follow. She started screaming, but we proceeded toward the front. Really, it was the dumbest thing ever. Arriving first, the OP and his brother might have readily snatched both apple juice bottles without saying anything. Rather, they volunteered to give the woman one, and she turned straight forward and started screaming at them. She ended up obtaining 100% of nothing while wanting exactly 100% of the apple juice. Though it sounds like they were able to just walk away without any more problems, I find it surprising that Karen did not end up running after OP and his brother to do something further. Tell me what you would score this one, 1 out of 10, down here for the entitlement degree. An entitled parent seeks Disney World's college refund policy. Understanding the rest of the story depends on knowing all this material. Having only been here slightly over 2 months, I work at a financial aid office for a small private university. Because I have to learn topics about the financial aid application process I never would have believed I would need to know, including how FAFSA forms are handled, my work is difficult. Students must complete the FAFSA, a crucial document to find out how much money they are qualified for to pay for college. Many times, this means students with scholarships, grants, or loans could receive a return check. The amount the student qualifies for and the amount the school deducts for tuition, classes, lodging, board, and other expenditures will determine how these checks turn out. Students occasionally will obtain thousands of dollars back off. Be sure not to discuss how you intend to utilize a refund outside of class criteria for anyone who intends to obtain one, since it is policy to refuse to distribute money if they are knowingly used for items outside of school necessities. Once more, this helps one to grasp the narrative. Now, on to the narrative. Though I work as a simple office assistant, my position as a financial aid assistant is one of knowledge of a financial aid counselor. Yesterday a young woman and her father entered the office. "Where's the person that's holding my kid's money hostage?" the man asked before I could welcome them. This man was plainly angry and bigger than me, so I got scared. Just from the intensity of his voice, I wanted to cry. "Sir, I can see if anyone's available to talk," I said, and he started yelling at me about how horrible the university was and how dare they keep his daughter's money like this. We are all women in our little office with my boss, the Director of Financial Aid, DFA, Assistant Director AD, and Student Assistant. Turning to the open doorway, I found the Assistant Director looking unconcerned. "I can discuss her money with you and your daughter," she replied. Side note, since we have no control on how it's distributed, first call the billing department, not the financial aid office, if you're seeking a refund. I heard everything discussed since the entitled dad and the girl entered the office left the door open. Had I been let to document events, for privacy concerns I wasn't, I would have noted this conversation. "So how can I help you?" the assistant director asked. "What is happening?" The entitled dad added, "The refund for my kid was meant to arrive by the end of the week, Wednesday here, and her account does not show it." "Sir, please calm down," the assistant director said. Ignoring her, the dad said, "No, we utilize her money for our trip, hence she needs it." The daughter piped in, "Dad, I'm not going on a trip." The dad said, "You are indeed. Remember, we are heading to Disney World." Knowing this, the assistant director remarked, "So you're using your refund to pay for a trip outside of school?" Saying, "No, I'm not," the daughter objected. But the dad cut her off, declaring, "Yes, she is. We now need it since she pledged to pay the deposit with that money." "Sir, I must tell you that I cannot let this money be released as you have just told me your daughter will be using them for things outside of school. Please do not modify it." The dad said, "What? She can spend her money any way she wants and do anything with it." The assistant director clarified. "You only have this money for purchases connected to schools. Using it otherwise is regarded as fraud, a wrong use of money." OP explains here. You should never notify the financial aid office of your vacation plans and act like a jerk. You can utilize your return money any way you like. Most financial aid recipients have no particular interest in how you use your refund generally. I was still at my desk, trying to seem as though I was not hearing this, but this man went crazy. I swear I picked up more foul words from him in that one instant than I have in 27 years. Though she wouldn't be getting her money, the daughter was also unhappy. I dropped my head as they left the building. Not too long afterward, I got up to visit my assistant director. "Hey, are you okay?" I begged. She nodded, however she obviously needed some alone time. I don't blame her, that guy was really scary and I doubt we will hear from him very soon either. Man, if they hadn't obviously declared they would be using the money for Disneyland, it sounds like they could have really been able to help them. The fact that they intended to pay for the trip for everyone else using the daughter's money seems also strange. I sense that the choice was made for her. Still, it was quite a poor decision for the dad to freely admit to utilizing the funds for Disneyland. Why would you even say it even if it wasn't against policy? Whichever the money is for, what difference counts? In this instance, it allowed the assistant director a simple way out from underhandling the matter entirely. Though the assistant director explicitly addressed it as a possibility, they believed the dad might keep returning but could also be terrified of anything involving fraud. That's really significant. Either way, grade this one, 1 out of 10, down below and tell me what you would do if you were in this position. Now to the next story, story 2. Sister-in-law secretly DNA tested my adopted daughter and accused me of raising an affair baby, so I laughed in her face. Original post, August 29, 2024. When you weigh 30 m, have a daughter who's 6. I am not biologically related to her at all. There is no blood relation between us. I was friends with her mother for most of my childhood. We were never involved romantically and were always just friends. She had her daughter at 23 with her 25-year-old husband. When my daughter was a newborn, about 3 months technically, both her mother and father were killed. I won't go into too much detail for privacy reasons, but it was a workplace shooting. My friend and her husband had worked in the same building and were both killed. Both my friend and her husband had grown up with less than ideal families and didn't have any siblings, so there wasn't any next of kin for their daughter to go to. However, because I was close with them, I was able to adopt her. Even though I had been iffy about the idea of kids, I didn't want their daughter to grow up in foster care or around people who didn't have a connection to her bio parents, so I stepped in. My parents and siblings know that my daughter is not my actual daughter biologically speaking. My daughter, I'll call Lily for the post, also knows that she's adopted. I never really hid the fact that she was adopted. She knows her parents are dead and were killed by a bad man, but I'm saving the details for when she's older. Lily does not look like me at all. She looks exactly like her mother and biological dad. Most people assume that I'm her bio dad and that she just took after her mom. I don't ever really correct this when and if people assume this because it just seems unnecessary. My brother has been with his fiancée for about 2 years now. A few weeks ago we were all meeting up at my parents' house and my SIL saw an old picture of me, my friend and her husband. She pointed to my friend and asked who she was, and I explained that it was Lily's mother. SIL got quiet and stood in front of the picture for a while. I didn't think much of it. To clarify, she knows my friend died, but I guess didn't know that she had been married, or that Lily is not my bio daughter. I suppose she assumed my daughter was mine and my friend's biological daughter. My SIL got a DNA test done on my daughter behind my back. She used my brother's DNA for the test, and when it came back that they weren't related, she knew that meant me and Lily weren't related. She came up to me with the results and waved them in my face, saying that I was taking care of a dead woman's affair baby. She said this to me in front of my daughter. I just stared at her for a while before bursting out laughing at this. I told her I knew Lily wasn't my biological daughter, and that this thing called adoption exists. Her face went red and she stormed off. My brother is mad. I embarrassed his fiancée, but I said she embarrassed herself by DNA testing a kid that isn't hers and then parading the results up to me. What did she want me to do? What was her goal with this? Did she want me to break down and abandon my daughter? My brother said she thought she was doing the right thing and called me an asshole. I don't feel like the asshole, especially considering my SIL was the one who stuck her nose where it didn't belong. I'm asking for Reddit opinions, mostly just for validation. So was I the asshole? AITA has no consensus bot. OOP was NTA. Did the brother's fiancé assume OOP was married to the deceased friend? OOP, I can see how she assumed that we were together. In the picture I had my arm around her shoulders. This was before my friend was married to her husband. At the time that picture was taken they were just friends. Commenter, I think you're a hero. I'm proud of you. If anything ever happens to me I know my daughter will be so loved and cared for and raised in a loving household. I hope somehow your friend and Lily's daddy are resting peacefully knowing she's got a papa that loves her. I'm going back to cutting onions now. OP, I appreciate that, a lot. I'm doing my best to raise Lily with the values and beliefs her mother and bio dad had and wanted to raise her with, even if some of them differ a bit from my own. Does OOP know what kind of DNA test Sil took for his daughter? OOP, I believe they were doing one of those home DNA kits, though I don't know what company they did it through. Commenter, NTA, she wanted to stir some shit up, that's a hell of a lot of effort to help. Also I'd be pissed about how she got Lily's DNA to do this. It didn't go the way she thought it would so she got mad. Your brother is just trying to side with his soon-to-be wife. Update, August 31st, 2024. TLDR spoiler. My brother thought I had been having an affair with Lily's mom and thought I was Lily's bio dad. He tricked Sil into believing that I was in a relationship with Lily's mom and was Lily's bio dad. Sil then saw the picture of Lily's mom and her husband, and assumed Lily was an affair child between the two of them and was being led on to believe that I was Lily's bio dad. My Sil ended up coming to my house and apologizing, as well as telling me the full story. My brother put her up to the DNA test. When I first adopted Lily, my brother for some reason believed that Lily was my bio daughter. He thought that me and Lily's mom were together and just weren't telling anyone. He believes that when she got pregnant, Lily's mom told me that Lily was mine and that she was going to just say that it was her husband's, and I went along with it because I didn't really want kids. Sil was under the impression I believed I was Lily's bio dad. She saw the picture of Lily's mom and I and after asking for clarification on who she was, assumed we were together in it, and then got suspicious when she saw that the other guy in the picture, Lily's actual bio dad, looked a lot like Lily. I also want to clarify, I didn't tell her that Lily's bio dad was in the picture because she had specifically pointed to Lily's mom, and I assumed she knew that Lily was adopted. I didn't know my brother had been telling her lies for nearly 2 years. She got the DNA test out of her own suspicions and my brother helped her with it because he thought it would reveal that I was actually Lily's bio dad. He manipulated her into thinking that it would clear the air of suspicion, when really he was just trying to prove that I was really Lily's bio dad and lying about the reasons for adoption. Well, of course the results proved I wasn't Lily's bio dad and that my brother was wrong. My brother felt too embarrassed to confess to his fiancée that he had lied about the circumstances, which is why Sil confronted me with the results. My Sil also apologized for showing me the results in front of my daughter. She told me that her mom had an affair and cheated on her father, got pregnant with another man's kid, and had let her father believe the kid was his. Her father was devastated by this when he found out, and she grew very resentful of women who do that to their spouses. She had wanted to sit me down and talk to me about it without my daughter, but when she saw me with my daughter she got angry thinking I was being led on to believe I was raising my daughter when I was actually raising another man's kid. And she ended up exploding and immediately waved the results in my face. My Sil does feel very guilty, and she's angry at my brother for lying to her. I'm not angry at her for doing the test, because she thought she was doing the right thing. I also forgave her for the way she told me about the results, because clearly affairs are a sensitive subject for her and I can understand why she would have exploded like that. I'm pretty sure she plans to break up with my brother now, and I don't blame her. When I called and asked my brother about this, he admitted it. When I asked why he would think this he said that he couldn't think of a reason why a man who had been against having kids at the time would willingly adopt a baby without having a blood connection to it. He told Sil that I was Lily's bio dad and was aware of the fact. He took it a step further, and said that me and Lily's mom were together at the time of Lily's conception. Both me and my parents have been in low contact with my brother for a while now. I know I will forgive my brother eventually, but I can't do that right now. He believed I was low enough to have an affair with a married woman, get her pregnant, take no responsibility, allow her to pass off the kid as another man's, and then only take responsibility because her mom died. Relevant comments. OOP on how Lily is handling all of those. Is she mad at her uncle and his fiancé? OOP. She was confused and I had to explain to her what Sil had said in terms she would understand. She was angry Sil would think that of her mom, and I had to explain that she had been lied to and didn't think that anymore. She's not mad at Sil anymore but doesn't want to ever talk to her uncle again. OOP on fatherhood since adopting Lily. OP, LOL, yes I can admit that I'm definitely a lot softer since becoming a father. Adopting my daughter made me have to finally be mature, something I wasn't in my 20s when I adopted her. Commenter, Both your brother and Sil are getting off too lightly. He butted into your family and lied to his wife. And sensitive issue or not, she still violated your daughter's privacy, then called her an affair child derisively in front of her. Commenter. When I asked why he would think this, he said that he couldn't think of a reason why a man who had been against having kids at the time would willingly adopt a baby without having a blood connection to it. Your brother is really showing his whole ass here. Your brother was both a terrible sibling and partner. He riled up his fiancée based on her trauma in order to enlist her to help in deceiving you. Awful. OP, I really want to stress this point, take the words right out my mouth. I'm not mad at my Sil because I know she was manipulated into doing this by my brother. I wish more people could understand that. Update 2. September 8, 2024. Update 2. SIL is now X-Sil. I don't know if multiple updates are allowed for this sub. If not, take this down and I'll post to my profile. Some people were wondering what happened to my brother and Sil. Well, she dumped him. They tried to make it work, but that only lasted a few days and she ended up giving him the ring back. My brother got shit-faced drunk on my front lawn in the middle of the night. I was pissed because Lily had school the next morning and this woke her up. My brother was yelling insults to both me and my daughter. We called the police and he spent the night in jail for drunken disturbance. I believe the official charge was something like that. I sure as hell pressed charges because he was saying some borderline threatening statements to me and my daughter. I don't think it's enough to qualify for a restraining order, but if it is, I'll get a temporary one. On a more positive note, Lily is doing well. She's getting straight A's in even subjects and is excited about her first ever science project. She's been talking my ear off about it. Send help, lol. Comments. Commenter 1, good for you and your daughter. That was such a violation for you too. Unfortunately, the ex has to deal with her own personal demons. They are both sick. Commenter 2. It's unfortunate that your brother reacted so poorly to the breakup. It's great that you're prioritizing Lily's well-being and ensuring her safety. Hopefully your brother gets the help he needs to deal with his emotions in a healthier way.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.